Beginning. The laugh before the shot. The war did not begin with explosions. It began with a broadcast. Every major city on Earth froze when the sky flickered like a broken screen. Clouds parted in unnatural symmetry, revealing a colossal triangular vessel hovering in silence above the atmosphere. No fire, no sound, just presence. Moments later, a transmission hijacked every network. A tall, silver-skinned being appeared, its elongated face smooth and almost elegant. Its eyes glowed faint violet, reflecting something between intelligence and amusement. "We are the Karel Dominion," it said, its voice translated in perfect English. "Your species has reached technological adolescence. You are volatile, dangerous to yourselves and to the cosmos. We have come to correct this." Correct. That word ignited fear across continents. Within days, Karel fleets descended over major military installations. They did not immediately bombard cities. Instead, they disabled satellites, neutralized missile silos, and dismantled naval fleets with precise orbital strikes. Their technology rendered Earth's most advanced weapons almost obsolete. Humanity was not conquered in a day. It was humiliated. Staff Sergeant Ethan Cole watched the invasion unfold through the scope of his rifle. He was stationed in the ruins of what used to be a mountain defense complex in Eastern Europe. The Karel had landed troops in armored exosuits, sleek, dark frames powered by shimmering energy cores. Their infantry moved with unnatural grace, as though gravity favored them. Ethan adjusted his breath. He had trained for years as a sniper. Long-range elimination. Patience. Control. He had never trained to fight something not entirely human. Through the scope, he saw one of them, taller than the rest. Her armor bore a crest shaped like a crescent blade. Unlike the others, she walked without urgency, surveying the battlefield as if inspecting livestock. "Target at 900 meters, Ethan whispered into his comm. "Negative, Cole," came the strained voice of Captain Ramirez. "Standard rounds won't penetrate their shielding. Hold position." Ethan clenched his jaw. He had already seen what the Karel weapons could do. Entire squads reduced to ash by beams of compressed plasma. Tanks sliced apart like soft metal. But he also saw something else. Confidence. Arrogance. The crescent-marked alien removed her helmet briefly, exposing pale metallic skin beneath. She looked disturbingly humanoid, sharp features, luminous eyes, a faint ridge along her jawline. She laughed. Even across distance, Ethan could see it, the smirk as she watched a human drone explode midair. She turned slightly toward the mountain ridge where Ethan lay hidden, as if she knew he was there. Her comm device amplified her voice, projecting it across the valley in translated English. "Humans," she called, almost playfully. "You aim your primitive rifles at gods." Some of the Karel soldiers laughed behind her. Ethan's grip tightened. He had seen arrogance before, in enemy commanders who believed superior firepower guaranteed victory. But this was different. This was mockery. "Cole, stand down," Ramirez ordered again. Ethan exhaled slowly. He did not fire. Not yet. The following weeks were brutal. The Karel did not massacre civilians indiscriminately. Instead, they dismantled infrastructure, seized resource hubs, and enforced curfews in occupied zones. Their message was clear: submit or be rendered harmless. Human resistance fractured into scattered cells. Ethan's unit became part of one such cell operating from mountainous terrain. Conventional warfare was suicide. Guerrilla tactics were the only option. But even then, Karel's shielding technology made direct engagement nearly pointless. Their personal energy barriers deflected standard ballistic rounds with contemptuous ease. One night, During a covert observation mission, Ethan saw the crescent-marked alien again. She stood atop a destroyed radar tower, gazing at the horizon where fires burned across valleys. "Who is she?" Ethan asked quietly over comms. "Commander Vale IRA," replied intelligence specialist Morgan Chen. "Elite tactical officer. High-ranking. Known for psychological warfare. She's been broadcasting taunts in multiple occupied regions." Vale IRA. The name settled like a challenge. "She's daring us," Ethan muttered. "Yeah," Chen said grimly. "And so far, she's right. Middle, the rifle, and the rift." The breakthrough came from desperation. Dr. Anika Rao, a physicist working within the Resistance Network, had been studying fragments of Karel tech recovered from a downed scout craft. Their shielding systems operated on frequency-based energy harmonics, vibrations tuned to deflect specific velocity and density profiles. "They're not invincible," Rao insisted during a tense underground meeting. "Their shields adapt to conventional ballistics. But adaptation takes milliseconds." "Milliseconds we don't have," Ramirez snapped. Rao shook her head. "What if we give them something unpredictable?" She turned to Ethan. "A projectile with variable mass density," she said. "A round that destabilizes mid-flight." Ethan frowned. "You want to modify a sniper round?" "Yes. We embed a microresonance core inside the bullet. It will shift frequency just before impact, outpacing their shield recalibration." Silence filled the bunker. "It's theoretical," Ramirez said. "So was their invasion," Rao replied. Weeks of trial and error followed. Improvised labs hummed in hidden tunnels. Ethan tested prototypes at extreme distances. Most shattered against salvaged shield emitters. But just one cracked through. The shield flickered. The metal target behind it split apart. Rao's eyes gleamed. "It works." Ethan looked at the modified rifle resting on the table. It was still recognizably human. Steel, polymer, craftsmanship honed over centuries of warfare. But now it carried something more. Hope. Vale IRA escalated her mockery. She began appearing in contested zones personally, leading suppression operations and broadcasting her commentary live to both Karel forces and intercepted human channels. "You hide in mountains," she said during one transmission. "You cling to outdated weapons. Yet you persist. Admirable in a primitive way." Her laughter echoed again. Ethan watched the feed from a dim command post. "She wants us angry," Chen said quietly. "She wants us predictable," Ethan replied. He studied Vale IRA's movements, her posture, the rhythm of her patrol routes. Arrogance created patterns. Patterns created openings. The opportunity came during a supply reclamation mission near a collapsed hydroelectric dam. Resistance scouts reported Vale IRA would oversee the operation personally. "She's baiting us," Ramirez warned. "Good," Ethan said. He positioned himself 1,200 meters away atop a fractured cliffside. Wind conditions were unstable. Light rain fell, distorting visibility. Through the scope, Vale IRA appeared in perfect clarity. She removed her helmet again, scanning the terrain with faint amusement. "You persist," her amplified voice echoed. "Perhaps one of you still believes in heroics." Ethan steadied his breathing. Distance, 1,243 meters. Wind, 8 knots cross breeze. Elevation adjustment, minimal. He aligned the crosshairs over the faint glow of her chest core, the central node powering her armor and shield. "Cole," Ramirez whispered over comm, "you miss. We lose the element of surprise forever." "I won't miss." Through magnification, Vale IRA's gaze lifted toward the cliffs. She smiled. "Take your shot, human," she taunted softly. For a fraction of a second, doubt flickered. Then training silenced it. Ethan exhaled halfway and squeezed. The rifle cracked like thunder splitting stone. The modified round tore through rain and distance, its internal core destabilizing microseconds before impact. Veliare's shield flared bright violet, then shattered. The bullet struck her chest core with devastating precision. Energy erupted outward in a blinding pulse. Karel soldiers staggered as their commander fell to one knee. Silence gripped the valley. For the first time since the invasion began, a Karel elite bled. Not metaphorically, physically. Dark luminescent fluid seeped through fractured armor. Veliare stared at the wound in disbelief. Ethan chambered another round but held fire. He watched. Slowly, painfully, she rose again. Her shield flickered erratically. She looked toward the cliff. Not with laughter. With realization. Impossible, she whispered. Ethan transmitted one message across open frequencies. Not gods. The Karel forces scrambled, dragging their wounded commander into armored transports as defensive fire saturated the cliffs. Ethan had already relocated, vanishing into rock and shadow. But the damage was done. The footage, captured by resistance drones, spread globally within hours. Human weapons could break alien shields. Human rifles could make alien commanders bleed. For the first time, fear changed direction. And the lesson of fear. Veliare survived. Barely. Aboard the Karel flagship, she stood before High Executor Terex, her armor replaced by medical harnesses humming with restorative energy. You were struck by a primitive projectile, Terex said coldly. It was not primitive, Veliare replied. It adapted. Terex's eyes narrowed. Humans are incapable of such rapid innovation. They are driven by desperation, she said quietly. And pride. She replayed the moment in her mind. The crack of the rifle, the shield's failure, the shock of pain. But more than pain, she remembered something else. The human's restraint. He had not fired a second shot. He could have. Instead, he let her live. Why? Terex demanded. Veliare did not answer immediately. Because she knew. The shot was not meant to kill. It was meant to teach. On Earth, resistance cells surged with renewed confidence. Rao's modified rounds entered limited production. Karel patrols grew cautious, their once bold commanders staying behind reinforced barriers. But Ethan felt no triumph. He cleaned his rifle under dim lantern light, rain tapping against bunker walls. You changed the war, Chen said, sitting beside him. No, Ethan replied. I changed her. Weeks later, an unexpected transmission reached resistance channels. It was Veliare. Her armor bore visible repair seams. Her posture lacked its former swagger. Human sniper, she addressed him directly. You demonstrated capacity beyond projection models. Ethan stepped into view of the camera. You mocked us, he said calmly. Yes, she admitted. I miscalculated. Silence stretched between species. Why did you not finish me? She asked. Ethan considered the answer carefully. Because dead enemies don't learn. Her luminous eyes narrowed slightly. You intended to instill fear. I intended to instill respect. The word lingered. Respect. Veliare's gaze shifted, as though seeing humanity differently for the first time. Your rifle, she said softly. It is a simple mechanism. Simple doesn't mean weak. She inclined her head slightly, a gesture that might have been acknowledgement. The Dominion will reconsider direct suppression strategies, she said. Adaptation requires reevaluation. Is that surrender? Ethan asked. No, she replied. It is evolution. The transmission ended. Months later, active hostilities diminished. Skirmishes persisted, but large-scale Karel offensives halted. Negotiation channels, tentative and fragile, opened through neutral orbital platforms. Historians would debate the turning point of the war. Some would cite Dr. Rao's technological breakthrough. Others would credit coordinated resistance. But soldiers on both sides knew the truth. It was the day an alien commander learned that humanity's strength did not lie solely in technology. It lay in unpredictability, in stubborn defiance, in the willingness to stand alone on a mountain ridge with nothing but a rifle and conviction. Ethan returned to that same cliff months later. The valley had begun to heal. Grass pushed through scorched earth. Smoke no longer stained the horizon. He set up his rifle, not to fire, but to watch. A distant Karel patrol moved cautiously below, scanning cliffs with new awareness. No laughter echoed across the valley. Only wind. Behind him, Chen approached quietly. "Do you ever think about that moment?" she asked. "Every day," Ethan admitted. "Regret it?" He considered. "No. Fear can destroy, but it can also teach boundaries." He looked through the scope one last time, not targeting anyone, just observing. "Sometimes," he added softly, "all it takes is one shot to remind the universe that we're not prey." Far above, in orbit, Vale IRA stood at a viewport aboard her vessel. She watched Earth rotate slowly beneath stars. The scar across her chest pulsed faintly, a permanent reminder. Not of humiliation, but of awakening. She no longer saw humans as primitives clutching outdated weapons. She saw a species capable of adapting under pressure, of transforming simple tools into instruments of defiance. And somewhere in the vastness between stars, the Karel Dominion began rewriting its assessment of humanity. Because on that rain-soaked day in the mountains, something fundamental shifted. An alien learned to fear a human rifle. And through that fear, both species stepped closer to understanding the cost and power of underestimation.